About that time, Rickey Smiley unleashed.
Unfiltered.
Unapologetic.
It's just real talk.
Rickey Smiley unleashed.
All right, Rickey Smiley unleashed. So guess what we're gonna be talking about today.
What?
So we all got together and went to the mall yesterday.
Yep.
And we was taking a stroll through the mall, and we was having a good time. We was relaxing. Went to get something to eat.
Back down memory lane.
Back down memory lane. Went to over the North Park Mall, and so we went in one of the stores. And what was the name of the store we went in?
We went in John Varvatos.
Just looking around, don't have no whole lot of money, So we went in the store, and I politely turned to Special K.
Wasn't that polite?
Well, you don't think I was polite?
No.
I asked him, I said, man, can you take that hoodie off?
You said I thought I was Brandon for a minute. You said take that hoodie off.
Man, it make my nerves bad. You know what I'm saying? Man, hold on. It make my nerves bad because just because you can don't mean that you should.
Right.
Now, criminals wear hoodies when they commit crimes. And you're a grown man. Why you walk around the mall with a hoodie on? It ain't raining in there. It ain't cold. And what possessed you to walk around with a hoodie and you with us? And I'm just saying.
In my defense, I didn't walk around with it on. We walked through the mall. I flipped it up for a minute. Out of habit. I just flipped it up. I just flipped it up for a minute. And I wasn't even thinking about it. It was kind of an unconscious move. I flipped it up and I left it up for a minute, and that's when I was attacked.
I'm like, you can wear your hoodie, but you need to get away from us.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Because you got people kind of looking at us. And then we got into a conversation about, is that discrimination? Right. What were we talking about?
Well, Eva brought it up. She said, well, it's, the man in the store was saying that, they will put you out of the mall for having a hoodie on.
Because Des Bryant was kicked out.
Right. And Eva said something about that could be discrimination. And then me and you got into a conversation of, well, sometimes discrimination is kind of necessary. Like, you do discriminate sometimes, and it's not necessarily a bad thing.
And why you say sometimes?
You're looking out for your best interest, whether it's the mall or whether it's, I gave you the example of if you're renting a property to somebody and they pull up and they drive in a certain type of vehicle and they have a certain look about them, or maybe they have a certain, they might have a pit bull in the back seat, or they smell like weed and they're trying to pay you in all cash, and you might discriminate and say, you know what, I don't want to rent to you because I feel like this is going to become a situation at some point. This is not going to work out well for me.
So is that called discrimination or paying attention to early signs?
Both. It could be both. It could be paying attention to both sides and discriminate, because I know definitely I pay attention to when situations like that occur, like that what you're talking about, and you could discriminate because it's more so for the public, because you're looking at the color of the person who's really doing that, and mostly sometimes in certain situations it could be people of African descent, and we discriminate. And people discriminate, and that's just the way it is.
But sometimes it's not a color thing. You could discriminate if somebody walks up to your car, if you're at the gas station, and somebody walks up to you, they could be asking for directions, or they could be asking for money.
If they're in a Dodge Charger, I'm jumping in my car and pulling off. If them windows are tinted, and they pull up, and they got bass in there, they pull up too close, and they're in a Dodge Charger.
Just go on and leave. Yeah, just go on and pull off.
And I'm just nervous right off the bat because, hell, just like that was on Oprah, that woman with a baby, honey, crying and pleading for help, went up to the window to them damn people and sprayed them with some mace when they opened the window for them and stuff. So you don't know who to do stuff for.
Right. So in some situations, you have to discriminate. If you're a single woman driving a car, you don't just let your window down, or you just don't respond to somebody that's walking up to you asking for directions, because they may have some bad intent.
But is that discrimination or is that common sense?
I don't think it's discrimination. I think it's discretion. Discrimination is wrong, point blank and period. And as sad as it is, we have to teach our kids, especially our young black men, that they have to use a level of discretion because they will be discriminated against because they're black. Point blank and period. They could be a straight A student, but if they come in there with a hoodie, then they put them in a box. Yes. And so because of that, we have to teach each other, like you, and our children, that you have to have discretion when you move around. But discrimination is something that we're trying to get away from.
But when criminals have taken wearing hoodies and made it their thing, my question to teenagers And the parent, why would you let your kid wear a hoodie when that's what you see on First? For every video, every crime video, bank robbery, they got on a hoodie.
Yeah.
Now, my pastor always said, Pastor Kevin Brown said, do not allow your freedom to become your bondage. Just because you can and you have the right to, it don't mean that you should. We ain't judging nobody. You do what you want to do.
You said
It's your
so.
life. I'm just saying.
You said so.
Is that discrimination? Hey, so if you want to, if you got to come in, you want to hit us up at RickSmileyMorningShow.com.